conversation. I'm going to make a plea, and I'd like to get back to you on this because it deserves more time than 2 minutes. In this past session, one of the more controversial aspects, both the Senate and the House agreed to, and the governor signed off on legislation that will allow for warrantless searches of the state's prescription medical database. Now, my understanding is, and I'd invite you maybe to write a couple paragraphs that we can put out to our coalition audience. My understanding is that you did not vote on that proposal either way. I'm going to ask you, and since we didn't have a chance, I'm not going to challenge you to it because we didn't have really a chance to debate it, but I'm going to ask you to consider championing legislation to essentially kill that bill, repeal. And here's why. The entire state's medical community is in an uproar. The Rhode Island Medical Association joined Stephen Brown of the American Civil Liberties Union of Rhode Island here just a few short weeks ago. Quite frankly, they were outraged. An invasion of privacy, a clear spiritual violation of the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure. And again, when you talk about cynicism, the state loves to create databases. A few years ago, in fact, some of the Republicans, Representative Chippendale, if you're out there, no, I'm never going to let you forget this, voted to support a DNA database for seemingly all wonderful reasons. And then, of course, what happens so often in government, my words, not yours, all right, is that government finds a way to push things down further the slippery slope, and so that this information ends up being used for a variety of reasons. Now, both for privacy reasons, for, I'll say, the spiritual support of folks who, in a current generation, have finally moved past the stigma of dealing with mental health as an illness, not as a weakness of character. For the privacy of folks in the medical cannabis program, and for the fact that there was really no proven need to dismiss the necessity of a warrant, because there was no proven by our Attorney General notion that he was being, in those cases when a warrant was necessary or appropriate, he was not being denied it. So I'm going to ask you, and let's have another conversation on this when we have time, to consider, if you will, rethinking that legislation and saying, maybe we need to take a step back, maybe we need to revisit this because of all the issues that I've mentioned. So as a gentleman, can I ask you to consider that?
Absolutely, and I'll just say quickly that we intentionally have a sunset, I believe, in that law. Mm-hmm. Again, it was driven around trying to make sure we're doing something on the opioid crisis that we all know about, but I do believe there's a sunset specifically designed for us to make us have to relook at that issue.
All right, let's